Hello and welcome to Samvad. So, our today's podcast is going to be completely different. First of all, it is going to be completely in English, and our today's guest is from the northeastern part of India. Her name is Nambie, and she has a YouTube channel named Eat Your Kappa, and we will be discussing various aspects of her life through this podcast. So, if you find this podcast helpful, do share it with your friends and consider subscribing to the channel as well. Thank you for coming, Nambie.
Thank you so much for having me. Namaste to everyone. Hello, everyone.
Can you first of all tell how was your upbringing?
I was born and brought up in a small town called Shillong in Meghalaya. It's a very beautiful city. And my father was a government employee, so I had a good schooling. I have two elder brothers. One of them passed during the COVID in the year 2020 in the month of February. My eldest brother is he just got promoted from a DSP to an SP now, and I finished my masters in Chennai, and my husband and I have both quit our jobs, and now we are both farming. We have left our jobs, mainstream jobs, and now we are farming and side by side doing this YouTube channel as well.
So you said you have got a very good education as your father was in government job. So can you tell what is your educational qualification and from where do you do it?
Yeah, so I did my schooling in a very prestigious school in Shillong. It's called Paimon School. And then I finished, I did my undergraduation from St. Anthony's College in Shillong itself. Then I moved to Chennai for my master's degree. Then I also, in between all of that, I had time for learning languages. So I finished my B2 level in French. And I also did the N4 level in Japanese. And I did my mass communications in my UG and in my PG as well. So I have done online certifications on TESOL also, and so I think that's about it. I do plan to do my PhD in the near future, hopefully if things work out in the farm as well.
Okay, so you said that you have learned French and Japanese.
Yes.
What was the reason behind learning these languages?
Okay, so I had a lot of free time when I was doing my in my college, and my college classes would only start by 1:15 in the morning, and I used to I did not know what to do in the morning, so I would go for my French classes in the morning. Yeah.
Okay, it was a course which your college offered.
No, it was not a course from the college. It was a course offered by the Alliance Française of Madras, and I did my courses there. So it was just a side hobby thing, which can actually be used for your professional purposes. But I didn't pursue my C1 and C2 level. So yeah, it's just on the undergraduation level of French. Yeah.
Okay, and how about Japanese?
Japanese was again just as a hobby. So my husband and I, we are all so fascinated by the Japanese language, and we love animes. So we thought we will go for classes, and I failed my N5 level of Japanese. I still remember the alphabets, and if I give a little bit of practice, I still remember. But it's just the first level, and it was good fun learning it.
Okay, so you spoke about different levels in Japanese and French language. Can you tell what are the different levels and what is the criteria required to give that particular examination?
In French, there is A1, A2. A1 is the first level. Then you have A2. Then you have B1 and B2. Which is like the undergraduation level of French. If you want to do the masters, you have C1 and C2. I finish only till B2, and in Japanese you have from N5, then it goes down to N4, N3, N2, and N1. That's what I remember. And then you have qualifying examinations for that, and if you get through those levels, you can even you can go and I guess teach Japanese or something like that. I'm not really sure about Japanese, but French, they give us an opportunity to go and teach English in France, or like you can even teach French in schools and all of that. If you have finished those levels till B2, you're able to teach in schools or wherever. Yeah.
So you said that you have completed many degrees. Can you tell the institutions from any where you have did the various qualifications of yours?
No, I just finished my master's, not various. Okay, so yeah, my undergraduation was from St. Anthony's College, Shillong. It's under the Northeastern Hill University, and then my master's was done in Madras Christian College. It is under the Madras University, and then these small courses that I did were private. Alliance Francaise is recognized by the French government, as you know. I'm sure you have an Alliance Francaise in Mumbai and places, different places. So it's recognized by the French government. So and even the Japanese, the institute where I studied, it has a recognition from the Japanese government as well. So yeah, that was based in Chennai.
Yes. You said you learned these many languages, and after you completed your qualification in mass communication as well.
Yes.
So what you did after this, after learning these many languages, after completing your master's in mass communication?
I have always been someone who's not had this who follow this linear form of working. I've always jumped from places to places and stuff like that. So the first year after I finished my masters, I worked for an international organization called Greenpeace. It's where I worked as an environmental activist, and then worked towards for the good of the environment. I worked there as an outreach officer, and I reached out to huge corporates for doing CSR activities. So that was what I did because I was an intern in Greenpeace as one of I'm sure you guys have your internship programs as well. Like that, I had an internship done with Greenpeace, and after I finished my studies, I went and joined work with them. And so I worked there for about 2 years, and then I got married. And then after getting married, I was not working for a while, and then I joined my Madras Christian College as an assistant lecturer there, assistant professor there for the Department of Journalism. And then after I quit that, after working in my college for a bit, I worked as an English language and soft skill trainer for a lot of engineering colleges in down south. Like there were so many colleges that I worked for. I mean, I would go there and lecture, teach them soft skills on how to talk and how to, do interviews and whatnot. And then after that, I moved to a place in Karnataka. It's called Coorg. It's a very beautiful place, and I moved there to teach English language to international in an international school called Nalanda Gurukula, and I taught there with my husband. Both my husband and I were working there sidewise, where we were working on our YouTube channel. And then after that, I got pregnant. So I left my job from there, and then I moved back to Chennai. And after that, I've moved here to my hometown, to my village, and we are farming now, not related to any corporates or anything. We're just farming. We just have a large farm, and now we are doing a lot of things in the farm. So.
Okay. So you said you traveled almost all across India and doing your corporate career. So can you tell me how was your experience all across India? Which is the place you like the most and why?
It was mostly down south because I worked down south and I studied down south. So it was mainly down south. I've been to, I can't say I've been to all over India because that's not true. But I've been down south and I traveled a lot to so many engineering colleges. I think one of the best places that I had worked with while working for these engineering colleges as a soft skill trainer was a place called Pollachi. It's in Tamil Nadu only. It's a very beautiful place. The weather was really good. So I really enjoyed working there. It was just for a short period of time, like say 1 week, 2 weeks, like that. it was based on projects, right? So yeah, I think Polachi was one of the most memorable places. Then yeah, I think Pondicherry was also one. These are two of the places that I really like from down south, and I would someday, if given an opportunity and chance, I would love to settle in Pondicherry or Polachi. That would be lovely.
You said you traveled across many engineering colleges as a lecturer to teach them soft skills. Can you tell me what are the things that Indian engineering colleges lack of, and what are the improvements needed so that these things can be taken care of?
What can you repeat the question? What are the things that the engineering students are
engineering colleges
lagging?
lack
Is that
of?
what?
Yes, engineering colleges are lagging.
See, from what I have noticed from the students down south, the thing that they were lagging was basically communication skills. That's where my expertise came in, actually, because their communication, they were really smart. You know your subject, you know everything, but the way they communicated was not something that was apt to work in an environment where you need to say, for example, communicate in English, because not everywhere we can speak in our mother tongue. English is something that is universal and something that will help you communicate in the workplace better. Just sending a simple email, for that matter. Or, for example, one of the instances that I came across with one of the engineering students was apparently the student had passed out from some college and he had gone to work in a job, and he was asked to answer a phone call, and the student was not able to answer the phone call properly because the student did not have basic etiquette on how to answer a professional call, or call to a colleague, or even someone on higher ground. No, so I think communication is something that a lot of engineering schools are lagging. I think that is something that needs to be worked on, because English, or like the way you communicate, the way you do your interviews, or for that matter, you might be the smartest child in the planet in the engineering college, but if you're not able to communicate your ideas, then that's when you where you are lagging, right? I mean, like, that can pull you down a bit. So I think that is one thing that is required and that needs concentration, from what I've seen in the past few years that I worked.
Yes. You have been teaching. You said you have been teaching soft skills to the engineering students. Can you tell me what are the soft skills that are important in life, not as an engineer, but whole as a human being, to be great at what you are?
I think the most important thing is listening, to be a good listener, because if you are able to listen properly, you're able to communicate properly, you're able to understand the person better, and you're able to communicate better also. So if you listen, like, for example, I always keep giving this example to all the kids that I teach. When you first started to learn your mother tongue, did you don't learn to speak immediately, you learn to speak by listening, right? You first said mama, papa, because you heard it with your ears. So you need to be a good listener to be able to communicate well. That's one thing that I would tell everyone. Always be a good listener.
Yes. Okay, so after good listener, what?
After being a good listener, you need to be able to where can I start this? There's so many things that you can okay, you need to be where do I start this now? Okay.
You can take your own time. We have lots of time.
Okay, besides being a good listener, you need to understand the language, basically, the basic rules and regulations of the language. You know, say, for example, you're communicating in English, and if you don't know the grammar, or like you're not well read, for instance, like, you don't know what is wrong. Some people don't know how to like use the words properly. So that's one of the things. And one of the other thing would probably be body language. Say for example, you're communicating or doing an interview. If you stand in one corner and you're like so you don't know how to use your hands, because his hands is something that or you don't know what to do with them when you're talking on stage, or when you're doing an interview. What do you do with your hands? That's something that you need to channelize on. Like all your nervous energy, everything goes into your hands. So that's something that you need to I always tell my kids that when you talk, try to make use of your hands. Be calm and composed. Don't move your heads too much, it gets very thing, but make use of your hands. Then what else? Like for example, like if you don't you're supposed to talk on a topic or something like that, you just don't go to the stage and then you're able to talk about. You need to study on the subject, you need to write down points, you need to be aware of what you're talking about. Like for example, even like the smartest person who's the best communicator in the world doesn't go prepared. You need to be prepared, you need to have a plan when you're talking, when you're doing an interview, or when you're doing a presentation. If you go there blank and you just stand there, you wouldn't know what to speak. So you think that someone can speak so well, wow, that person can speak so well. It's because that person has studied and he has practiced, and it's because he has a plan and he knows what to take, what to talk. So yeah, there are a lot of things I can as of now, these are the few things that I can remember. It's been a while since I went for training, so I do need to brush up a little bit more.
So can you tell what are the soft skills required for being a good podcaster?
For being a good podcaster, I think being a good podcaster, again, you need to do a little bit of research on who you are talking to. I think you need to be receptible to ideas from the other person. I think you need to talk on, say for example, you approach someone, I think you need to talk on certain things that you can talk about, or where the podcast is going, or what is the main purpose of the podcast. I think the planning is always good, because for example, like when I was doing my UG, we used to have this radio program which is sort of like a podcast, and we used to script every single thing, like every second has to be understood. This is what's happening this minute, this is what's happening in this second. So I think planning is the key to anything that you do. That's all that I can say. Planning is something that is important for anything that you do, not just podcasts.
What do you think about me as a podcaster? Am I doing good, or improvement is needed?
I think you're fine, but there's a lot of areas that you can always improve. You're good, but you can work on a lot of things. There's always a space to grow. You're good now, you can always get better. Maybe in your next session you'll get better, and you get better interviewees and stuff like that. So you're doing well.
Okay. So you said after doing all your corporate career, teaching to different students in engineering college, now you have gone into farming. So can you tell how was this decision of leaving all corporate life behind and doing farming?
It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. It looks like I'm living the dream for a lot of people. It looks like, I am living in a land full of greenery, away from traffic, away from all of this hustle and bustle. It looks simple and easy, but it's actually not. There's a lot of hard work that's required, physical hard work that is required. And the transition has been very slow and difficult, because I think having been educated and having been brought up in a city, and coming to here, you have a lot of ideas, but it's just that the implementation of all of these ideas requires a lot of patience, because the pace at which the things work in the village is a lot different than in cities. It's not like how it is in a city. You want to get something constructed, you get your masons, you get your masons to do things really quickly. Here it takes one whole year. you face problems that you don't face in the city. I mean, it might not be pollution, it might not be traffic, but there are so many other different problems. So it's been a very difficult transitioning. But I think, we are both hopeful, my husband and I, about our farm. We have planted about 6 acres of lemongrass, and our lemongrass distillation unit is got delivered to us last year, and we are only able to start distilling the oil like few weeks ago. So it's been going on. It's a learning process, because you expect that, oh, you'll be doing so well, but then you end up, like, for example, last time we were supposed to distill oil out of lemongrass, and we had like acres of land that was growing lemongrass, but because the machine came late, when we were distilling the oil out of lemongrass, out of more than like 1 ton of lemongrass, about 10 ml of oil came out, so which was a huge loss for us. So it can be it can go out of plan, in the sense like everything cannot go in order. So we are learning slowly. It's a learning process for us, because farming is something that I have not been doing all my life, and I'm not built to do the farm work. But we're doing it. I mean, like, that's what I can say. And I don't know if I told you this, but my husband and I have also adopted a school. This is a very rural village, and he and I are the only 2 people who are educated. So the village from the next village had come to us. The headman, the sarpanch or whatever here had come to us, and then they spoke to us, and they requested us that if you can take over the school, because the school will die if there's nobody to look after it. So we adopted a school. There were 19 kids that was abandoned. But after we joined the school, after we took over the school last year, there are 65 kids. We are going to reopen the school on the 18th this month, and I am hoping for more admissions this year. So that is one thing that we are really proud of. Of course, it's a struggle. My husband and I are not getting anything out of it. It's basically charity what we're doing. But it is rewarding, because you're able to help these children go to a school, an English medium school. Otherwise, they would have to go to another state just to get educated.
So we now you spoke about the adoption of the school. Can you tell me what was the problem that the school need to be adopted?
Okay, so the thing is, the person who was running the school was from another village. This village that I am living in does not have proper roads. Only now, if you can hear it, you can, after many years, it's because the election is near, the road has started, they are starting to build the road. Only now we're getting the road. I don't know if you have seen my videos of the earlier videos. If you had seen the road, if you dip your biscuit, say marigold biscuit, in a chai, and you're talking to someone, the biscuit crumbles and falls into the chai, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
So our road is like that. You're taking a bike inside like a biscuit crumbled road. The road is like that. The road is really, really bad. So the person who was managing the school left the school, probably because the transport was really bad. He's not able to get funds, or what. I did not know what actually happened and why he left the school. But the village where the headman and everyone approached us, they don't have a school. They don't have a government school. They don't have any school, and all the kids from that village are having to go all the way to Assam to study. So which is difficult for them, because the parents are mostly farmers. They cannot afford to go and live there and educate their kids. So if you have a school in your own village itself, then it's easier for them, right? They are able to maintain their farmlands, and they are able to educate their kids at the same time. So they didn't want the school to just die down like that. They wanted someone who's capable to adopt the school, and they approached us, and we've always had this idea to start a school someday. And if somebody gives you a school in a platter, why not take it? So we took up the school, and we have 65 kids, and we expect more kids this year. So hopefully, yeah.
So now we were speaking about the problems that kids were facing for the education, and you said one thing that the roads are in construction now because the elections are coming up front. So can
Yeah,
you
that's what I think so.
yes, can you tell me what are the problems that you people face which are not highlighted by the mainstream media?
Okay, so there is no motorable roads firstly,
Hmm.
and if you would have gone through my YouTube, you would have seen my video on vaccination, where I had shown like how much we have to walk just to get to a PHC.
Yes.
So the kind of problems that we face, like for example, if somebody has to deliver a baby, some woman is pregnant, most of the deliveries happens at home through midwives. But if there's an emergency case, they have to lift her in a stretcher, trek down for 45 1 hour, and then maybe take a car from there and then get to the PHC. That is one of the thing that is like, and there is no medical facility nearby at all, which is very dangerous. Because like again, we live in a forest, so there are so many reptiles as well. So if somebody gets bitten by a snake, that's it. I mean, that person will have to lose his life here, because there is no, I mean, there are traditional medicines and all, but like you can, what if it's like a very venomous snake or something like that, right? So
Yes,
that is
and
one
the
thing.
problem with the
And then
traditional
there is
medicine is that it is not effective almost 100% of the times.
yeah, yeah. And then schooling is one of the things that is a major problem here, because you need to go really far just to get a proper education. And and market days. So for about 7 months in a year, it rains here constantly. It rains here, so the roads are slushy and slippery, which means that you can't go. So to get your supplies for home, like basic, your dal, chawal, whatever, you need to go to market on Tuesdays. Only on Tuesdays is a market day in Assam. So people from village go on Tuesdays to stock up all their supplies for the entire week, and then that's how they run their show. Otherwise, we survive on vegetables from the farm and things like that. But then most of the time, every Tuesday we go on market, and because this has been practiced for like centuries altogether, every Tuesday we go to market on to buy our needs. That's one thing. And because it's in a mountainous region, we don't have any market. There's no pharmacy. There is there nowadays, people, because people have the possibility of owning their own vehicles and trucks like that, so they bring up some stuffs, and there are some really small chota stores that are available. 1 2, you can count them.
Okay. So we spoke about a lots of things, but the main thing which you started your YouTube channel, why and how you started the YouTube thing?
So yes, as I had told you, I had moved to Chennai for my further studies, and after I got tired of the masala dosa and the biryani and whatever yummy food that was available there, I was longing for home food. I wanted to eat home food, and I am not a chef. I don't even cook at home. I'm just a food enthusiast. I love to eat, and I was longing for home food, and I was looking for recipes online, but whatever was available online was in the vernacular language. So I saw an opportunity there, and that's how my YouTube channel was born.
Okay. So you said the food which you are craving for home food, wasn't it available readily at the restaurants?
No, there's something about northeastern food that has not been highlighted. It's something that is very hidden, and people don't know about like northeastern food, and that is what one of the purposes of my channel is to showcase how amazing our cuisine is, how amazing our culture is, and how there are million brilliant ways of cooking. So that is something that I wanted to share in my YouTube channel, which I have been doing. And after I think I started my channel like really long ago. I was one of those pioneers or few people who have started a channel catering to Northeastern cuisine. Only during the pandemic, there was a huge blow up where a lot of Northeastern channels had come up, and they're doing really well also because they're able to keep up and they're able to be persistent with their videos. I, on the other hand, I had a daughter, so I needed to take care of her, and I had so many other things. So only I have not been posting videos for a really long time. So that's one of the things that happened. And in that period of time, there were so many YouTubers and bloggers, food bloggers from Northeast, which I'm really happy about. I mean, like, they're actually, you just need to put a search and then you'll find a lot of Northeastern, cuisine, people working on the Northeastern cuisine.
As you said, you have been married and you have a child as well. So, can you tell, was your marriage arranged marriage or love marriage?
So I met my husband in Chennai. We studied in the same college. I met him on the first year of my master's degree itself, 2010. He is a South Indian. He's a Tamil. And he is 2010 we started dating, and after the college was over, 2014 we got married, and 2018 we have our beautiful daughter Avira, and that's our family story.
Yes.
We met in college.
Okay, so you said you dated for almost 4 years. Can you tell what a girl looks looks into a relationship so that it will turn out to be good?
I think every girl is different and every girl's need is different. But one thing that I was looking for was obviously the connection. And I mean, we needed to be compatible. We had, what do I say? I think the best part is that we respect each other, and that's something that is very important in every relationship. I think you need to respect each other's boundaries, you need to respect each other's culture, the way you are, and no matter how you are, you should always there should be a balance, I think, in everything. I'm not a relationship advisor, so I'm not very good at this. I'm sorry, but whatever has been, I found a friend in him, and we both respect each other, our cultures, and the different places that we come from. So I think that's what's important, respect.
Okay. So, how was your parents' reaction when you told them you were dating a boy from 4 years and you are now about to marry him?
The thing with my side of the family is that it's not like the mainland sort of families that in your side you probably have like your parents look for an alliance for you or someone. In our side, our culture is like you choose the person you like, you marry the person you like, when you like, whenever you like. Even if you are 40 years old, you can still marry. It doesn't matter. Even if you're a girl, you're a woman, and you're 40 years old, you can still marry it at that time. So the rule here on this side of the town, on the northeast side, is that you find your own man, marry them, whether it works, doesn't work, whatever. But you should do your own thing. Your parents are not going to look for you. So the thing with so when I told my parents that, they were a bit skeptical because in my culture, like how for you guys, you bring your bride home, yes or no? You bring your bride home, but in my culture, we the guy has to come home.
Yes.
Like my husband has to come to my home. Like you have like your bidai ceremony, like that. That it happens for the guys,
Yes.
not for the girls. Okay. So. Yeah, it's true. It's so beautiful.
It's
like so
true.
totally
And
different. But
yes, it is really different, and it is some different side of culture, and it is really great as well.
Yeah. So they didn't have a problem with that because he had to come to my house anyways. But that was not the case. We both have very understanding families. Wherever we wanted to live, whichever part of the country or whichever part of the world, they were acceptable to it. His parents, on the other hand, were totally okay with it. In fact, his parents were the one were like, if you're not getting married to her now, we're gonna find you some other girl. So it was, the urgency was on his side of the family. His parents were pushing it. Otherwise, maybe we would have stalled for a little bit, worked, maybe they did our PhDs or work somewhere else, and then we would have gotten a lot later. But because his parents wanted us to get married, and we got married early, 2014.
It was great speaking with you, Nambie. Would you like to say some concluding words for the podcast?
I'm just grateful to you for having me and for inviting me. It was really fun talking to you, and I hope your fellow listeners also have had a good time listening to us. And do follow me in Instagram or in YouTube, just to keep an update.
I will provide all the social platforms link of Nambie in the description. You can go and look for it.
Thank you so much. So kind of you. It was really nice chatting with you.
Thank you all. Goodbye.